Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. Saddarshanam, Vision of the Truth. Invocation and verses 1 through 8. Sat pratyaya kim vihaya santam rityesha chinta rahito hridakyaha katham smaramastamame yamekam tasya smritistatra drudaiva nishta mrityunjayam mrityu biyashvitanam aham matya mrityu paiti purvam atasvabhavat amarteshu teshu katham punah mrityu dhiyo vakashaha sarver nidanam jagato hamascha vacha prabhu kaschidapara shakti chitre trilokyam chavilokita cha prataprakashopyapavatsa ekaha arabhyate jiva jagat paratma tatvabhidhanena matam samastam idam trayam yavataham mati syat sarvothamaham matishunya nishta satyam rishava chididam jadam va dukham sukham veti mudavivadaha advishtaloka niraham pratitir nishta vikalpa paramakilishta sarupa buddhir jagadishvarecha sarupa dhir atmaniyavadasti arupakatma yadika prapashyet sadrishtireka navadirhi purna yad panchakoshatmakamasti deham tadantara kim bhuvanam chakasti deham vina panchavidam tadetada pashyanti keva bhuvanam bhanantu shabdadi rupam bhuvanam samastam shabdadi sattendriya vritti bhasya sattendriyanam manaso vashesyat manomayam tad bhuvanam vadamaha diya sahodeti diyastameti lokastathodhi pravibhasya eshaha dhiloka janma kshayadama purnam sadvastu janma kshayasunyamekam bhavantu saddarshana sadhanani parasya nama kritibissa paryaha sadvastuni pravtatamatma bhava nishtaiva saddarshanamityaveihi. 40 verses. If reality did not exist, could there be any knowledge of existence? Free from all thoughts, reality abides in the heart, the source of all thoughts. It is therefore called the heart. How then is one to contemplate it? To be as it is in the heart is its contemplation. Those who know intense fear of death seek refuge only at the feet of the Lord, who has neither death nor birth. Dead to themselves and their possessions, can the thought of death occur to them again? Deathless are they. From our perception of the world, there follows acceptance of a unique first principle possessing various powers. Pictures of name and form, the person who sees, the screen on which he sees, and the light by which he sees, he himself is all of these. All religions postulate the three fundamentals, the world, the soul, and God. But it is only the one reality that manifests itself as these three. One can say the three are really three only so long as the ego lasts. Therefore, to inhere in one's own being, where the I or ego is dead, is the perfect state. The world is real. No, it is a mere illusory appearance. The world is conscious. No, the world is happiness. No. What use is it to argue thus? That state is agreeable to all, wherein, having given up the objective outlook, one knows oneself and loses all notions either of unity or duality of oneself, and the ego. If one has form oneself, the world and God will also appear to have form. But if one is formless, who is it that sees those forms, and how? Without the eye, can any object be seen? The seeing self is the eye, and that eye is the eye of infinity. The body is a form composed of the fivefold sheath. Therefore, all the five sheaths are implied in the term body. Apart from the body, does the world exist? Has anyone seen the world without the body? The world is nothing more than an embodiment of the objects perceived by the five sense organs. Since through these five sense organs a single mind perceives the world is nothing but the mind. Apart from the mind, can there be a world? Although the world and knowledge thereof rise and set together, it is by knowledge alone that the world is made apparent. That perfection wherein the world and knowledge thereof rise and set, and which shines without rising and setting, is alone the reality. Under whatever name and form one may worship the absolute reality, it is only a means for realizing it without name and form. That alone is true realization, wherein one knows oneself in relation to that reality, attains peace, and realizes one's identity with it. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. This is a testimony of Swami Ishvarananda from the book Surpassing Love and Grace, page 188. It was in 1934 that I had the privilege of meeting the great sage of Tiruvannamalai. It was a long-cherished desire of mine to have a look at Sri Ramana Maharshi and study a Jivan Mukta, for such was the descriptive term with which he was referred to by the general public. After we had all returned to the hall and the Maharshi got seated on his cot, some attendant introduced me to him as coming from the Ramakrishna ashram, Mysore. The Maharshi asked me if I had any news of Swami Siddheshwarananda, who had gone to Paris to start a center of the Ramakrishna mission there. It so happened that I had a letter of his in my pocket, which I handed over to him. The Maharshi went through the letter and expressed his surprise at the fact that few Frenchmen living so near England knew English. The Maharshi enjoyed the humorous episode mentioned in the letter, which arose on account of this language difficulty. Swami Siddheshwaranandaji's hosts did not know English. At meals, when his host brought him wine, he said no. They asked him what he would take. He said milk. They brought him water and then soda. He again said that it was not what he wanted. They were puzzled. Then the Swami resorted to a gesture of imitation of milking the cow. The hosts immediately understood, and the difficulty was got over. The Maharshi enjoyed this immensely and recited the incident in Tamil and Telugu to the audience in the hall with great glee. After some time, I asked permission to put a few questions about Samadhi, God realization, etc. In those days, the Maharshi used to give only short replies, and that too, long after the question was put to him, so I was told. But in my case, he appeared to have made an exception and explained at length. The Maharshi repeated his replies in Tamil and Telugu and sometimes in Malayalam for the benefit of the others in the hall. The hall was again, as usual, filled with silence. The Maharshi again relapsed into his wonted silence and sublime look. It was time for me to depart. I got up and prostrated and told the Maharshi that I would now take leave. He seemed to say yes by his look, and I come away with the satisfaction of having had the privilege of contacting one who was reputed to be a perfect soul. The silence which the Maharshi was steeped in pervaded me and still haunts my soul after 20 years. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya.
சொன்னீங்கல்ல சின்ன வயசுல எப்ப பாத்தீங்க?
திருவண்ணாமலை ஜீவுக்கு போவாங்க ஊர்ல. அப்ப இது போனாங்க அப்பயே தானே சொன்னேன்.
யார் ரிட்டர்ன் பண்ண அவங்களா? ரமண மகரிஷி பாத்தீங்களா? டைரக்டா பாத்தீங்களா?
கோலம் கட்டின்னு உட்காந்து மிஸ்டர் மாதிரி ஒரு ஆடு நாய் அதுதான் இருக்கும். வேற ஒண்ணும் இருக்காது. அது பாட்டி உட்காந்து இருப்பாரு. அப்புறம் நான் பார்க்கும்போது
உங்ககிட்ட பேசினாரா?
வணக்கம் சொல்லிட்டு பிடிச்சு போகுது. அப்ப அதெல்லாம் தெரியாதப்ப எனக்கு எந்த பிரச்சனை ரொம்ப இருக்கு.
உங்களுக்கு என்ன வயசு அப்பா?
10 வயசு.
ஓம் நமோ பகவதே ஸ்ரீ ரமணாய. சரணாகதி by Manavasi Ramaswamy Iyer. Manavasi Ramaswamy Iyer first visited Ramana in 1907 when he was staying in the Virupaksha cave. Ramaswamy Iyer was then suffering from dyspepsia and had come there expecting a cure for his ailment by Ramana. Ramana, as usual, brushed it away by telling he was neither a magician nor a doctor. But Ramaswamy Iyer would not take no for an answer. Ramana hence told him that the disease is for the body and not for his real self, and to have confidence in the fact. M.V. Ramaswamy Iyer wrote, "My physical ailments tormented me so much that on a festival day I was plunged in deep dejection. When HML brought some special food in the evening, all except me went to the nearby waterfall to have their meal. Everything was pleasant and joyous, but my mind was full of darkness and my body full of pain. Bhagavan sent Vasudeva Sastri to call me. I said that the rich food did not agree with me and that I had to stick to my diet. As I spoke, my head turned towards Bhagavan, as if impelled by some superior force, and I saw him beckon to me. I went near and sat down. I was served various dishes. I had no courage to eat and was sitting gloomingly when Bhagavan said, "Eat." All fear gone, I started eating and I had my first hearty meal in many years. That night I had a sound sleep. In the morning I felt strong and healthy. My dyspepsia had disappeared completely and my heart overflowed with gratitude. Bhagavan's grace continued to manifest in my life and helped me overcome all family problems. When I was transferred to Bermapur, I was afflicted with boils on my legs. The pain was terrible and all medication failed. I had a fixed idea that only Arunachala could help me. One day I was surprised to find two Brahmins from Tiruvannamalai standing at my door. When I was asked who knocked, they replied, "Arunachala." They were on their way to the north and had been asked by Bhagavan to break journey at Bermapur and meet me. When they saw my pitiable condition, they made a paste of tamarind mixed with some fragrant gum and smeared my legs with it. The next day, there was no trace of boils. It was then that I composed the song Saranagadi in praise of the holy feet of Bhagavan, my only refuge. This famous song has often been sung by devotees for invoking the grace of Bhagavan. Translation of the Saranagadi song into English. I surrender unto you. Where else am I to surrender myself? Tell me. I surrender. Who is perfect in Arunachala, which endows one with ultimate release. O Ramana, rain cloud of compassion, I surrender. Is this not the appropriate time for granting me your glance of grace? If you delay, lo, what I am to do? My beloved, remove my sorrow and grant me bliss. I cannot bear indifference any further. O Vedya, one who is Brahman itself, I surrender myself unto you.
Namo Ramana. Traduction du chant Saranagadi en français. Je m'abandonne à toi. À qui d'autre dois-je m'abandonner? Dis-moi. Je m'abandonne. En Arunachala, qui est cette perfection qui confère l'ultime libération. Ô Ramana, toi le nuage d'où pleut la compassion, je m'abandonne. N'est-ce pas l'instant propice pour m'accorder ton regard de grâce? Si tu tardes, vois, que puis-je faire? Mon bien-aimé, retire-moi ma peine et accorde-moi le bonheur absolu. Ton indifférence ne m'est plus supportable. Ô Vedya, celui qui est Brahman en personne, je m'abandonne.
Mr. Narayana Swami Iyer's daughter married to our Sundaresa Iyer's son, sang a few songs and then related the following miracle. In Kavanpur, we are living on the third floor of the house, and we are the only residents on that floor. We have a tap there, but water rarely rises up to that level, and we have daily to go down several flights of stairs and climb up with all the water necessary for us. My husband used to do this work daily for me. It was too much for him, and I was too weak to be able to help him in this daily task. One day, when I was alone in the house and my husband was in his office, I was pondering over this hard situation of ours and how we were to find a solution for this. I had kept the empty vessel before the tap and was singing in a pensive mood. Then I began singing the song Saranagadi. This is a song well known among Bhagavan's devotees. It was composed by Mr. M.E. Ramasamy Iyer and is sung by him and the members of his family whenever they want Bhagavan to interpose and avert evil from them or bring them good. It says in brief, we take shelter under you and you are our sole refuge. Who else is there to whom we can turn? If you delay to come to our rescue, we can bear it no longer. So come at once, end my misery, give me happiness. Then the water began to trickle down the tap and kept on flowing more as I went on with the song. So I sang the song till all our vessels were filled with water. When my husband returned home, he was surprised to find so much water and could not conceive how I could have got all that water. Then I told him, I have discovered now a secret device for getting water. If I sing Saranagadi, I can get water. My husband naturally could not conceive. My husband naturally could not believe it, and so I tried the same device again in his presence, and the water flowed from the tap. Ever since then, my water problem has ceased. I had only to sing Saranagadi and water will flow from the tap. I have tried other songs, but they don't give the same result. Afterwards, when I fell ill and father came to see me, I told him about this and he could not believe it till I again repeated the experiment before him and he saw it succeeded. He asked me to try other songs. I did, but none of them produced the same result. The girl told all this with great glee, and there was such a ring of truth about the whole narration that I consider it would be absurd to doubt the truth of the experience day by day. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharshi's teachings on the practice of self-inquiry in the search of self. Ramana, the very name is sweet, pleasing, gratifying, delightful and charming. Who am I? This attitude of questioning our own identity is a first step of self-inquiry. The path of following up this puzzle is a process of self-inquiry. I read some passages from the book The Ramana Way in Search of Self by Kumari Sarada. The beginning of our attention to the I thought and its source must be a part of our everyday moments. For that, there is ample time. The things which need our urgent attention lie elsewhere: our work, our food and sleep, our daily pleasures and pains. In the midst of all this, how would it be possible to continually and attentively track the I thought? We wonder. It is a sad plight, but Bhagavan assures us it is enough if you devote a few minutes a day to self-inquiry. If it is properly practiced in this time, its current will automatically continue throughout the day. However, whenever our nose is blocked, we may have to put some nasal drops and perform breathing exercises to breathe normally again. The self-inquiry is an exercise to clear this blockade of forgetfulness. A little of this medicine will clear the way for the natural current to resume its force. Why is it important to use self-inquiry as a tool in self-search? Bhagavan never discarded any method as useless. On the other hand, if someone told him about a method they were practicing, he would then ask them to continue the same. This sometimes led to the impression that Bhagavan advocated all these practices for self-experience. However, Bhagavan has in many places stated that the emphasis that all these methods are only aids for purifying the mind and self-inquiry must be resorted to before self-abidance becomes an experienced reality. Hence, he has pointed out, it will be much simpler to begin the inner journey with self-inquiry itself. But why is it that self-inquiry is a must for self-knowledge? Because only by tackling I thought can we get back to its source. All other thoughts are dependent on the I thought. So when other thoughts are being handled, the I thought will continue to reign supreme unaffected and has to be tackled. Here are some question answers formed on the self-inquiry of Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharshi, translation by Dr. T.M.P. Mahadevan from the original Tamil, published by Sri T.N. Venkatraman. Devotee. What is meant by saying that one should inquire into one's true nature and understand it? Master. Experiences such as I went, I came, I was, I did come natural to everyone. From these experiences, does it not appear that the consciousness I is a subject of those various acts? Inquiry into the true nature of that consciousness and remaining as oneself is a way to understand through inquiry one's true nature. Devotee. How is one to inquire, who am I? Master. Actions such as going and coming belong only to the body, and so when one says I went, I came, it amounts to saying that the body is I. But can the body be said to be the consciousness I? Since the body was not before it was born, is made up of 5 elements, is non-existent in the state of deep sleep and becomes a corpse when dead. Can this body, which is inert like a log of wood, be said to shine as I? Therefore, I consciousness, which at first arises in respect of the body, is referred to variously as self-conceit, egoity, nescience, maya, impurity, and individual soul, jiva. Can we remain without inquiry into this? Is it not our redemption through inquiry that all the scriptures declare that the destruction of self-conceit is a release mukti? Therefore, making the corpse body remain as a corpse and not even uttering the word I, one should inquire keenly this. Now, what is that rises as I? Then there would shine in the heart a kind of wordless illumination of the form I. That is, there would shine of its own accord the pure consciousness which is unlimited and one. The limited and many thoughts having disappeared. If one remains quiescent without abandoning that experience, the egoity, the individual sense of the form of I am the body will be totally destroyed, and at the end the final thought, namely the I form, also will be quenched like the fire that burns camphor. The great sages and scriptures declare that this alone is a release. Om Namo Bhagavate Shri Ramanaya.